Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Around the Ballpark podcast, episode number 104 is the final.
Love that.
104 is what we're going for. Hopefully, that's what you all have. But give you guys a minute to get in. We have an awesome announcement to share right at the top of this podcast, so we'll give it another minute. Darren, how was your Sunday, your Saturday, and your Friday?
So, I mean this with all sincerity. What a great day. So, I got up in the morning, which is a blessing in itself, literally. So, I do a live thing on what do the kids call it? The TikTok? Yeah, so I do a live thing on TikTok 5:30 in the morning. I just ramble. And up until about 6. Church at 7. Bought the family breakfast. Drove to work. And you know what I do for a living. And I run a residential home for people with PWS, adults, Prader-Willi syndrome. And I just worked there till 7 o'clock. Came here, got my electrolytes, and here I am with my brother. And we're going to talk shenanigans. We're going to talk sports. Got a big announcement. I'm so excited. Here I am. How about you? What'd you do today? I know you did, but let's talk about it.
Well, no, that's awesome. I love that you have just enough time to kind of get your bearings before you jump on and stuff. It is a lot in life of just go to the next thing, that sort of thing. For me, it was we were very shorthanded with our staff today. None of our lead teachers could teach the first service today, so it was all first timers, and so it was a little bit stressful, but they all did it. They stepped up and did what they had to do, and then we had a child that required one of our teachers in second service to kind of be one-on-one. So we had to put 28 kids in one class. That was a little bit much, but they had a good time. We had some good games and stuff. And so services went great. It was just by the time I was done, it was a lot of exhaustion. So we went to Chili's for lunch. We always have to go somewhere on Sunday after church because nobody's going to be cooking after that. But we were blessed with an anonymous donation. So we were able to give out 25 backpacks today to people in the community that needed them. That was super fun. Eileen got to host that table and do that. So that was great. We had a nice, we got rid of all of them. So that's good. And we have even more. We have enough to buy all the ones we need for next year. So thank you, anonymous donor, whoever you are. That is much appreciated. And then, just came back and took a hard nap. Sundays is my only nap I usually get in. I was going to go in the pool, but it was pouring.
So can we unpack your nap? Serious question. I might have asked you this before, but it's a real question. Nap, couch or bed?
Usually bed because there's too much going on in the living room. So I'll go into bed. Usually I don't intend to nap. I just want to lay there. What I say is I'm just going to lay down for a little bit, not sleep, and then that. And I wish I can have that peaceful sleep the rest of the week. And I never feel good after a nap. I'm grateful that I do, but it takes about 3 hours for it to feel back to normal. I still feel groggy and all that stuff, but I needed it. I couldn't have survived without it. But there was no going around there. Hello, Mother is here. She's watching Big Brother and us at the same time. So shout out to that. That is live right now.
Love
too.
That. So, Love that.
But so it's in the room typically because there's a lot of stuff going on. We had Aiden's girlfriend is over, and so there's a lot going on out here. So I just kind of did my thing in there for I think it was a good 2-hour nap. I was impressed. Usually it's not that long. So, but that's the only time and it's not every Sunday, but it's at least
a Sunday nap. A Sunday nap is beautiful.
Yes. Usually it's at the hands of the Carolina Panthers already being out of it in the second quarter, and then I nap hard after that. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Happy Monday Eve to you as well. I saw you guys. I'd love to chat about that in a few at some point too. You guys, you saw that movie 2 days ago, was it?
Yes.
Weapons. So, I didn't see your review or your. I saw that you posted one. I didn't get to view it yet, so I want to kind of unpack that here in a little while too, because that was one that was on my short list of some that I wanted to see. So I'm interested to find out, was it one of the stinkers that we thought 28 days later in Superman we're going to be up here, turned out to be here. So I'm curious to hear that. Hello, Michael, as well. Glad that you're watching with us. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, Mike. We'll talk about what's going on with the Mets. I'm really trying to stay positive, which we'll get there. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll try to figure out some positives there. So we got a lot of stuff. But before we do even our sponsor read, I can hit with a big announcement. Super, super cool. So, as you know, we're going to be doing the Family Christmas Extravaganza this year on December the 20th. So that is really, really cool. However, before that, on Saturday, December the 6th, which is the same evening as the Palm Bay Parade, the Around the Ballpark podcast will be teaming up with Nashville Tax Solutions at the Palm Bay Parade with a float. And we're going to be passing out flyers with the Around the Ballpark and our subscription.
I love that.
And on the other side will be National Tax Solutions with their barcode and their. So it'll be like a double-sided flyer that's going to be passed out with candy canes and all that good stuff. So we're going to team that up. We got to figure out the logistics. Chris has got a truck, so we're going to try to go that route.
Chris rocks. Chris rocks.
Yes, Chris does rock. Of course, I'm supposed to also be at the extravaganza, so we'll figure out the logistics of how it's going to work. But that is huge because in addition to the extravaganza exposure, now we'll be able to, and we'll have a baseball playlist that'll be playing. Instead of everyone else to be Christmas music, we're going to separate ourselves. So we'll have, so we'll take the request in now. What is your favorite baseball song? We've got John Fogerty, Center Field, of course. Which has to be on the top of the list. Of course, Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Alabama, Cheap Seats. There's so many from Bruce Springsteen. So go ahead, if you have any in the chat, please put those in there. We'd love to hear that. That's so cool. So excited for that. That'll be on the evening of.
That is great news.
So yep. So that is huge for us. December will be a big month for this channel for sure.
Love that.
Yes. So I wanted to make sure I share that now because I got that out of the way, Darren. Wouldn't mind sharing about our folks over at the people that you see there at the ticker at the bottom of our screen, National Tax Solutions.
Palm Bay and Fort Pierce, are tax problems weighing you down? Are you behind on what the kids call filings? Are you facing a lien? Nashville Tax Solutions here with the expertise and dedication you need. Their experienced team handles the IRS so you don't have to. But don't just hear it from me or hear it from Mike. Clients really do say it best, like Chris Bennett and his team turned a nightmare into peace of mind. They're sharp, they're honest, and they truly care. So don't let tax stress take over your life, whether it's Christmas season, it's the summer, whatever the case may be. Chris and his people, they are there to help you win. So call 855-627-4829. Visit NashvilleTaxSolutions.com or email info@NashvilleTaxSolutions.com today. Right now, you can put us on pause. Come back. Nashville Tax Solutions, real help with real results. And listen, as we talk about every week, and we need to continue to do so, Chris was a supporter of ours before he had any right to be a supporter of us. I think between the two of us, we had 3 followers, and then look at us now.
Amen. And so we couldn't do it without him. And the partnership has been amazing. And as we did our Sunday movie preview series, we did our baseball 30 clubs and 30 parks in 30 days.
Love that.
Right now, we're in the process of doing our weekly recordings. Hopefully, you got to check out episode 1, Nolan Ryan, and see all the great that he did. So this Thursday, we'll be recording. So this will be dropping on Friday. We're going to be doing an episode on the career and of Mike Tyson. So that'll be a lot of fun to break that down. Laura's here. Hi, Laura. Thank you.
Hey, Laura.
So sometimes, Laura, I see you more on the podcast than I do on Sunday service because we're both in 2 different worlds on Sunday. So I'm grateful for you and everything that you do. If I don't get to say it enough, it's because we're on other sides. But thank you for everything you do over there on your side. And hopefully we'll get together soon. Just got the pool put up, so you guys are more than welcome to come over and come swimming and catch up. So we'll reach out for you. So, so Darren, as far as what was I going to say? I wanted to share one thing from. Okay, so tonight is really going to just kind of be catching up on all the happenings in the sports world. There's so much going on, not just in the WNBA, as you see in the title of this video, but in the NFL and Major League Baseball and all that sort of stuff. So, yes. So, Darren, explain the Liberty, which team that is, of course, part of the WNBA. Sure. But yeah, go ahead and share about Liberty.
The New York Liberty from New York, obviously, they play in the Barclays Center where the Nets play. They were always a really good team. Rebecca Lobo and some others never could really get to the finals or win it all, except for last year. Last year they did it. 7 games against the very tough Minnesota Lynx. We'll talk about them. Right now, they're the best team in the WNBA by far. In fact, they took the Liberty to the woodshed just a couple of days ago. But yeah, the Liberty, my team, New York. But there's so many other teams that are interesting. Obviously, Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark, Cece, and the Valkyries. If you don't know about the Valkyries, they're like the first-year team out of Golden State, and they're making noise. They're under 500, but they'll make the playoffs, and they're a tough out. So much to talk about in WNBA. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So much there, and I finally started peeking into that this season. I'll admit it was under the radar for me with everything else that there is to consume. And I found myself more interested in the WNBA than I am in the NBA.
Me too. Me too.
So, Darren, let's start there. You mentioned the Lynx, 27-5 this season, 9 out of their last 10, 5-game winning streak. Mm-hmm. You mentioned they're on fire right now and whatnot, and then you have a team, a polar opposite, the Sun, who are 5-24. So you flip flop that, the WNBA's version of the Colorado Rockies. But so, how does a team from the product that you've seen? How does a team go 27-5? Like, how does that work out? 16-1 at home. That just doesn't happen. So, when I'm kind of chatting about that, because I'm curious.
Well, there's a lot to unpack there. So, Minnesota is playing with a bad, in my opinion. Again, this is all opinion. Playing with a very bad taste in their mouth because they felt that they should have won it last year when the New York Liberty did. So they are a team on a mission. They're a team that did not hang their heads, and they played really tough. Then they have this great winning streak. They're doing all sorts of great things this season. Indiana Fever is without Caitlin Clark. They have that Chairman's Cup, Commissioner's Cup rather, kind of like a juice box intramural season within a season. Not a big fan of it, but it means something to the players. And they lost. They lost at home to the Fever. And ever since that loss, they picked up to Johnny Carrington for some defensive help. This is how you know they're a good team. Like everybody, let's get another scorer. Let's get another scorer. No, it doesn't matter the sport, right? It could be, basketball. It could be baseball. When you really want to win long term, you got to play defense, right? We know that in football, obviously, in hockey. But so she's a stopper in the middle. Can't go up the middle. And it is just paying off big time. Now, you mentioned about the Connecticut Sun. Interesting. They were one of the dominating teams for years. Their coach left to go to the Indiana Fever, and they have fell apart. And which is sad to see because they're a joke right now. They're playing uninspired. There's rumors that they were going to move to Boston, and then the league didn't want to approve that right away. There's other bidders that might go to Hartford. They're a mess. But what happens is you get the politics and the finger pointing, and it's in any sport. It's unfortunate, but that's what's going on there. But Minnesota
now,
dominating.
For those that don't know, because obviously and we can chat about that in a little bit, about the Indiana Fever and the star that they have there, kind of brought all these fans back, or not back, all these fans to the arenas and stuff. How is the attendance this year compared to last year? Like, is it are you seeing dips in teams like the Connecticut Sun, or is it across the board, still really, really good compared to what it used to be?
So interesting. No, I think that's a great question because, does that momentum have legs? I think next year and the year after, we could really see. This year, there was still so much positive momentum. Even though Caitlin Clark has been out most of the year with a pretty devastating groin injury, and she was taking some unnecessary hits. I'm not even going to get into that. It's still been great. And I mentioned the Valkyries. The Valkyries, it's like a hot ticket. Like it's tough to get a ticket to the Valkyries. Now, there's some teams that are struggling. They're on the struggle bus, but and there's a lot of 500 teams, which is very competitive. I like that. Chicago, for example, Chicago loses with they have Angel Reese a lot, but last year they lost, and they were their own worst enemy. They kept putting the other team to the line. This year, they lose. So picture it this way: they lose in baseball analogies, men analogies. It's like losing 4-3. Like they seem to lose 4-3, 3-2. They're on the come. They're playing better and better. But yeah, there's some great crowds out there. TD Gardens. I got to just keep going. I'm sorry. The Connecticut Sun, for example, played one game recently against the Indiana Fever. The people disappointed Caitlin Clark going to play. But there's 18,000 seats there, sold out every one. Every one.
Every single, wow. Yeah. Now,
and that wasn't the home game. That was just an away game in an away location. People want to see it. It's an event. It's great.
Yeah, and I think as long as teams are competitive, of course, we talked about the Sun and they're not with 5 and 24, but like it's an experience. Yes, you enjoy the on-field, the on-court product, but it's the experience overall. You're seeing competitive basketball. Some people may say, "Oh, there's not a lot of teams standing out. There's a lot of 500 ball," but like the real true sports fan knows that that's a good thing. That means that there is the league is pretty even, and you're gonna always have that team or two that lets everybody down and all that sort of stuff, and talk about relocation because of this and that. But then you have teams like Colorado Rockies. The fans still show up no matter how poorly their team plays. They show up.
I love that.
I gotta stop for a second though. I love that she mentioned playing at the D&D Diner right now, John Fogerty's center field. So
yes,
that's always every February and March. I created a playlist. That's always the first. So what it is for me, I do all the baseball movies first, and then I'll do the music. The playlist always starts with center field, and then I got all the other songs that play after that. So I'm glad that that's playing. Love that jam. Always will. Even though center field was never my position, I always love that song. So good. Yes, Clark brings them out for sure. Also in the WNBA, a big accomplishment just happened, and we're going to talk about one of the negative things here in a little bit. But so those of you that know the NBA, how difficult that is, but Alyssa Thomas became the first WNBA player this week with 3 straight triple doubles. So first off, if someone's not sure what a triple double is, if you could share that, and then number 2, just how rare and difficult is something like that to accomplish?
Well, the league is over 20 years old, and she's the first person to ever do it. That's double, triple double, points, rebounds, and assists. That you can't. I mean, that's like a 5-tool player. So think about it. 20 points. Double digits in points, double digits in rebounds, both offensively and defensively, and assists. Passes to Mike, passes to Ed, passes to Laura. Done. You gotta love that. Done, and of course for the jam.
Yeah, I think it's and Ed mentioned she's making me watch. I'm not sure if you're talking about Clark, or if you're talking about Alyssa Thomas, but either way, I know, like you mentioned, Caitlin's been injured, so that's been it's a shame. But what are some of the names? Of course, when you think WNBA, you think Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Sophie Cunningham, Brittany Griner, but like, is there any name that maybe someone doesn't know about that should be someone that they pay attention to? That's not.
Sabrina Ionescu, you probably heard of because she went up against NBA players in a 3-point competition, and she did pretty good. She lost, but she did well. But you got
she's Liberty, right?
She's with the Liberty, correct?
Okay.
You got Lexi Held with Phoenix Mercury. You have Kiki Everfriend with the Mystics, who is a very, very good. And Paige Buckers, with Dallas, she's very good as well. And all these people have presence. I mean, it really, really is good. You mentioned Alyssa Thomas, of course. I mentioned Carrington, who is a dominant defensive player. And by the way, that just doesn't mean, knocking people down. She has some mad skills. Ball hawk. Absolute ball hawk. Kiki is a great player. You're right, Ed. Absolutely. It is so much fun to watch. And, and this might sound weird, but I love this about college basketball as well. The game moves quickly. So like
Yeah.
it's like 2.5 hours, you're done. Love
Yeah.
it. But it doesn't feel forced.
Now, we have to unfortunately talk about the. And by the way, there's a dog barking behind me. As a reminder, everyone watching live, I am once again outside, as you can see. So if you see any raccoons, snakes, frogs, hippos, giraffes.
What did you think of that video I sent you?
So, God, I forgot to tell you about it. Yes, loved.
But actually, it proves you right.
Yeah, proves me right for sure. But yes, if you see any wildlife coming directly behind me, because right behind me you can't see, but there's a little door that the cats come in and out from. So if you see anything about to strike me or fly through here, a pelican, a pigeon, anything, please put it in the comments. So that way I can be here with you for episode 105 and not in the hospital somewhere from
Mike.
something.
So you see what Ed wrote? Mike and his nose.
Yes. Yeah. I have to share real quick, Ed, with you about Noah's Ark. One of my best friends and Brian Anderson, who has been on the podcast several times, he is one of our teachers in the kids ministry. And so we got up to the Noah's Ark story. And so he decided he was going to dress up as Noah. And so he shows up to service and he doesn't tell anyone. He's got just whole 9 yards decked head to toe. So he comes in and he's in the back of the service and everyone thinks that he's homeless. Like they're like coming to us at the table. They're like, hey, there's this homeless guy in the back. Like maybe someone should go talk to this guy. And it was just amazing. And he didn't break character at all. And so of course I'm at the table. I have a really bad poker face. So I knew what was going on. They're like, do you know something, Mike? So Rob Medina was there. He was shaking him and he's like, you can't be shaking me that hard. I'm like 800 years old, So I just thought that was hilarious, and he nailed it out of the park with that. We did like a skit that day and stuff like that. So shout out to Brian, that was so good. I'm sure he'll have some other characters coming up. But as we're talking about the WNBA, unfortunately, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is this. These things that I don't even want to use the word here on the show, but these things are being thrown on the court now 4 times now. It's happened at a WNBA game. And I think the smart fan knows, and you could disagree. I think it's not about these things being thrown on the court. It's not about trying to be funny or whatever. I think it's about like power. Like some people feel like, so yeah, if you want to elaborate, if you wouldn't mind, because that's what I think is they're not trying to like a laugh or whatever. They're really trying to, say that, establish for whatever reason, their power, their dominance.
It's in my opinion, again, I could be wrong, right? But it's misogynistic. It is every bad, disgusting thing that stays in the way of women's sports. Now, I have a daughter who played competitive soccer for a long, long time. I was the Division I in college, third base coach for a softball team. These young ladies are amazing and tough athletes, and I find it horribly disgusting when people do it. It's not funny. It's terrible. It shows. I'm like, how do you go home to your wife? How do you go home to your daughter and do this? Whatever happened to lead by example? It's terrible.
Terrible, and besides the fact that they'll never be able to go in the stadium again, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Just like you said, the example that it sets, and I believe, I think the first time it happened, some people there got laughs out of it, and now it's just like, it's a matter of
like a nervous laughter, haha. Okay, let's move on. But you do it, no good,
no good at all, and it's not going to damp or anything that they're doing. They're going to continue to ball. They're going to continue to grow this game and elevate this game. I do believe in the next 5 years, we may see a team or two like the Sun you mentioned may change locations, but I feel like this is a league that's continuing to thrive, and we'll see at least 2 new franchises, I think, in the next 5 to 6 years.
Let me ask you, Mike, and maybe some of your brethren down in Florida. Any talk of the team down there? I mean, that would do wonderfully, I think.
It would be. I mean, Orlando. We love they love the Magic and stuff, but we're sitting here like, come on, please. It's. I understand there's still some areas like that surprise me, like Virginia doesn't have a professional team, and think places like that. But Orlando is sitting there, a hotbed, and Vegas is getting all this love and stuff. That Orlando is a hotbed for the same. I don't know why we can't get another team over there for any sport. Tennessee is looking for a team. That's right, Ed. So, man, I'll take whatever we can get. I know we have a soccer team and we have the Magic. That's really it in terms of the professional level. And I was actually going to, you know what? Let's actually go there next. So the transition here. I want to talk just a little bit about college football. So that's the season's coming up. I actually got tickets to go to a game. I try to go once a season. So I'm going to get tickets on September the 6th to see UCF play. That's my team. I always try to go. Now they are playing the New York Mets.
So they're going to win. Oh, that's good.
They're win. So they're playing North Carolina A&T State University. So for those that don't know, Darren, what is the benefit of, because I know we know we're going to go, UCF's going to win 54-12 or something like that. But what is the benefit of, I mean, I understand, but those that may not understand, of the first week or two of a season where these big college football teams have District 2, District 3 teams come in, no-name teams, and basically get destroyed on opposing soil for the most part. Because there is a benefit for those teams. That's why they do it. And as you know, the college football schedule, it's not all those kind of games. Eventually come week 3, the big games start happening. And then we see, wait a minute, this UCF team that scored 50 points twice is now struggling to score 8 against some real competition. So what is the benefit of that in college football to have your no-name teams get that exposure?
Well, it's a couple things. One, it is exposure. Right. Let's look at some of the positives. So I'm trying to build a program, right? I'm trying to build Fairly Ridiculous University, right? And you are Alabama. I'm being very serious now. I'm trying to draw people to come to play. So I know I'm not going to get the grade A talent. I may not even get the grade B plus talent. I may get the B who's struggling academically, or the B minus player who's got a lot of heart and very smart, good desire. One of the things that I can do is say, hey, listen, by the way, we play Alabama. We play against North Carolina. We play against UCF. So that's a draw. Second thing is I get money from you, because basically for you, it's a glorified scrimmage that counts. So I will get a percentage of the gate for taking the beating that I'm probably going to take. So there's that too. And it gets your name in around town, for lack of a better term, if I may. So they're like, hey, look, what was the team? There's a Division II team that beat Michigan in Michigan. If you ever win the game, you have nothing to lose. And the Division II team, the Appalachian State, beat Michigan at the Big House. So that's wonderful.
That's one. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. We do some. It's with Joe and Abigail. We go once a year. Very excited for that. So I'll keep you in the loop and do a fun little video from there and stuff and stuff. But
love that.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So of course we have to dive, and we do have some football I want to get into, but want to go to NASCAR real quick because there was a nasty injury. Unfortunately, Connor Zilich won on victory lane and celebrating, and then almost the unthinkable happened. He was standing up celebrating, and his foot got trapped, and he fell. And he's grateful to be walking. He mentioned, but talk a little bit about that because that was those that may have not, NASCAR may or may not be your thing. And unfortunately, sometimes it's a sport where we only hear about it when something goes horribly wrong, and that's unfortunate. But in that regards, we're just glad that he's okay. Did you kind of see anything about that, or?
Yeah, I want to be very clear. I am not judging anybody because nobody goes out there to hurt themselves. And you got to understand also the mindset. These are people who, for a living, drive 200 miles an hour with cars an inch from them.
Mm-hmm.
But it shows how you can get hurt doing anything. Bob Ojeda, right? Cut off the tip of his finger, gardening. I am not you can't go around the world fearful. But he he was celebrating, and so many people standing on top of the car, and he got caught up in a moment and fell on his neck. And it was really devastating and sad. Yeah, I don't have too much more to say other than be careful and mindful at all times, people.
Yeah.
Celebrate. But again, what does he do for a living? Right?
Right.
He drives a car 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly. I can't even imagine. And I mentioned that, and hopefully, does seem like NASCAR is not as they hit their stride for a little while, and it's a little bit on the up and down right now. But hopefully, people watch it for what it is, and those things, we understand those things can happen. I'm a big WWE guy. We know injuries can happen all the time, but hopefully, more people tune in, not for just that reason. But I want to talk. As we transition into baseball, I wanted to get your quick thoughts on the number one on the look. We had that MLB game where they took, I think they got rained out the first day, so they had to make it up the next day. But your thoughts on the visual, positive or negative, and then your thoughts on, was it a successful venture? Do you want to see more things like that, or was that a little bit too far out the box?
I don't know too much about it, to be honest with you. I'm going to you. Tell me about that.
So it was really, I'm gonna admit, like, the visual was fantastic. And let me see if I can get a quick photo of that, because so the visual looked great. It looked unique, like nothing we've ever seen before, something completely different. The problem could be where some of the seats were like so far removed from from everything that it could make it much difficult to have a good seat and that sort of stuff. So if I'm able to get a photo, I will to put on here. But that would be my only thing. Visually, it looks fantastic. It's just there's a lot of people that probably didn't get a great view, and then because and Major League Baseball is not used to having that many people in a stadium, and so because of the weather issues, they didn't get. There's a lot of horror stories about people not getting in and out very quickly, and they were stuck getting downpoured on for several minutes, and it was an uncomfortable experience. And most people went back day two. So I would like to get. I'm going to try to reach out to get either I think Benny Bang Bang that we've had on the guest on the show.
Yeah,
Ben
great guy.
Before, to see if we can get him on, because I know he went to that game, and so he can share a little bit more, that than I can here. But let me see here. I think this was, here we go. This should work. I'll put this up here. Actually, it's not the right file, so it's not going to let me. So you guys can look it up on your end and just kind of see, because the file is not showing the right way. But it's a great visual, and I think, it was a Major League Baseball game. I believe it was the Reds and I want to say Atlanta, but I could be wrong. But I know it was the Reds, and it was actually. I found out about it from Steve Offender, who came. He was our guest a while back when we covered the Cincinnati Reds for the first time. He's the one that lived in Hawaii, and he comes to the games a couple times. So he had a miserable experience the first day just because of all the weather and stuff. Then he was able to go back the next day and enjoy it and stuff. So that's good. But
I'm glad you did that too, because a lot of times people have that first impression is their only impression, and that's not fair. Right? It could be a rain, it could be just whatever. Give it another shot.
So a big milestone happened, Darren, and Ed, I'm sure you saw this as well. A big milestone happened where Jen Powell got to reach the goal of making it as the first female Major League Baseball umpire. She got to do a day-night doubleheader where she did third base or first base, then third base for game 2, and then finished it out in behind the plate as the Braves won that game 7-1 today. So your thoughts on that? How awesome! Just to see her running out there the first day, just how the joy in her eyes, and just how much that moment meant to her, and what that means moving forward.
So I want to be very couched the way I say what I'm about to say. I thought it was lovely and awesome and way, way overdue. Because again, I coached Division I softball. I was head coach in high school of softball. There's some wonderful umpires out there. I almost wish they would have said, this is first time this has happened, and then that's it. The whole replay, you first base, the second base. No, this is not a spectacle. This, like, I remember something that FDR's wife said after December 7th, 1941, bombing Pearl Harbor. She said, I don't think we should make this a holiday. This is just an event that happened. And I like the fact of that, like, this happened, and there should be a lot of it. You have it in the NFL now. You have it in the NBA all the time.
Yeah.
It's about time. And I'm glad, don't get me wrong, I think it's lovely. But what's next? Are they going to keep her up in the majors, or this one and done?
Yeah, she's designated for assignment. Hopefully it's sticks. And they don't parade her out every single city. Like, it's she can get the hand wave when people do. They don't have to show, like, they don't have to.
That's all. Just tip the hat. Exactly.
Tip the hat. Yep. So I agree with that, for sure. So big moment though, and
100%. I think it's lovely. I love it.
Next for that. So I got a chuckle today, of course. The Yankees lost again. No big surprise there. They're completely falling apart. But Aaron Boone was ejected for the 5th time this season. So I mean, is it a pretty much a foregone conclusion? Unlike Carlos Mendoza, who I feel should get at least a 7-year extension with the Mets. I think that I'm just kidding. But Aaron Boone,
that was sarcasm.
But Aaron Boone is gone at the end of the season, no matter what. Like, unless he physically wins a World Series, like, there's no chance. Like, that this is the end of the road for him. Correct?
I think so. I think sometimes. Now, look, I'm going to sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, because I thought with the Knicks firing Tom Thibodeau was just ridiculous. Because you're going to say, wait a minute, this is the man that brought them to the World Series. They're having a down year. But sometimes you could say all the right things, and you just need a different voice saying it. I think not that he lost the locker room as much as there's too much osmosis. I mean, that team is dead.
Yeah,
they're lethargic as all heck.
It's none of those moves helped at all.
No,
and it's really. I know they played some good teams and stuff, but they got swept in Miami. Rob Medina went to the game that I think it was the 14-13 game that he went to, and so they showed life that game, but it's been really, really bad.
Let's rewind that sentence. They played some good teams. They just played Miami.
I realized after the fact, I'm like, well, they were the Marlins in there, but
yeah,
the Marlins.
But then the Mets wouldn't have beat them either. That's
right. No, they wouldn't have beat them either. And I feel like at this rate, they're going to be the second best team in the division at some point. But speaking of looking for jobs, and so Aaron Boone's probably going to be looking for a job next season, because I don't feel like he's going to be with the Yankees. Mr. Met, I feel like he is. I feel like he's going to be in the market for a new location as well. Poor guy.
I think you're right.
We got to go there. We got to talk about what is going on with the Mets here. But there's so many places to start. I suggested in the group chat with Ed and Tom, like, feel like this is I don't mean any harm to anybody, so please, kids, understand this is a joke. But I feel like we need that Tony Soprano moment where we need to put Ryan Stanek, Carlos Mendoza, and Frankie Montas, and they need to go out to sea, and they can live safely somewhere else, but that they don't belong here. And it's
they need to live on that farm that all, just go someplace else. Go live a nice life someplace else. So let me ask you this.
And we know who needs to be called up, but I'd take a 23-man roster with not have those 3 guys right now. But go ahead.
So, I mean, you know baseball as much as anybody. I mean, you really do. And you know about mascots. So here's the thing. Can you go back to Mr. Met?
Mr. Met? Okay.
Yeah, because I was talking to Ed earlier today, and of course I'm making this up, right? So if Mr. Met got traded to the Cincinnati Reds mascot, would anybody notice? Have you ever seen the Cincinnati Red mascot?
They had a lot of weird looking mascots, but no one would notice. But
no, because they got the same thing, same person. Really,
Yep.
he wouldn't notice. But why not?
Yep.
Give it a go. Maybe it's
So
time for Mr. Met to go.
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, so much is going wrong. You expect them to lose. I think the Braves are the next opponent, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a good team to get healthy by, right? Because you're excited, you're losing. I mean, Mendoza has to think that his job's on the line. I
Yeah,
would, and so you blew today too. They keep blowing games the same way, and it's not just relief pitching. They get ahead, and then they just kind of coast. They have
yeah.
to keep their foot on the
So
neck.
yes, Ed, Mr. Met Science says it all. That is right. Um, and Mike Clark, I'm not sure if you're still here with us, but let us know your thoughts as well, because he is as much of a diehard as we are as well. But when I got because I had service today, so I saw the text coming through that it was 5-0 Mets, and I still felt like we had that's not enough.
No,
You know, like there's something's going to have to go wrong, and of course, it did, and now yes, they're back
yes,
home, but they haven't been playing that great at home. They got 3
no.
with Atlanta, and then very hot Seattle Mariners team right after that. And the Braves swept the Mets. It seems like everybody else did too earlier this season. So realistically, the Reds are chasing them right now. I mean, here's my thoughts. I'm going to be 100% honest here, because it's easy to throw them under the bus. This is a team that has 2 really big losing streaks. They had a sprinkled in with a 7-game winning streak again in between that. Here's the deal. They're not going to continue to lose 9 games in a row over and over again, that sort of thing. But they because of this, they can't possibly, in my opinion, make the playoffs at this rate. There's no, because they're going to win a game here or 2, sprinkled in. Eventually, it's going to turn around a little bit. But this is not a playoff team. And we talk about all you got to do is get in. But that's if a team trips in, that's
Like the Orioles did last year.
Right. And so I don't know if it's going to be the Reds. They don't speak playoff to me, but I don't know who else it could be. But I feel like it could be Arizona, it could be San Francisco. I really, really think I'm not giving up. They're still, as of right now, as of this live, they still have a playoff spot. But they can't. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And it seems like all the Mets are wanting to do right now is try the same thing until one day it works. And it's August 10th. It's not May. Yep. Your thoughts on it?
No, I duly noted. I could not say anything better. I mean, it's perfect. You're absolutely right. I mean, you get up and then they coast. That's what they do. That's a great line from the TV show Shorzy, which I talk about all the time. They don't hate to lose, and they coast. They get up ahead. They start to mug for the camera after a home run, and then they coast. This is a job. Go out there and put your foot on the other team's neck and keep going, and make it so. You heard all the 86 Mets stuff, right? I mean, it's true. Nobody wanted to play them. Be cocky, but be confident. I mean, Soto's hitting home runs now. We know what Alonso's doing. Your veterans are carrying his team. All right, Beatty had a nice hit today, but terrible. I expect more. When was the last time we knocked a person down? Our pitchers don't own the inside of the plate. I'm not saying throw out their head, but throw out their hands.
Right. I mean, and this is a team, I don't know this past week if they've gone down, but this is a team that was leading baseball in the National League in stealing. Make something happen. I understand you have to get on base first for that to happen. But, unfortunately, Cedric Mullins, and yes, Ed mentions the 2.5 back of the Reds. Cedric Mullins has not been an improvement. We, definitely know that they made the wrong call, not running Tyrone Taylor for Starling Marte the other night. There's so many things. Unfortunately, that was placed on the third base coach, and that was not his fault at all. I see a lot of discourse to bring in JD Martinez to kind of replace, kind of in the role that Chavez is in right now. A lot of people are echoing that today. At church today, I overheard people talking in the grassy knoll that we call it. about let's bring in JD Martinez and get rid of Chavez. Like, this is a church. People are talking about it. But I've always said this is no one is standing out, and the people that are standing out are doing it with nobody on base.
Well, yeah, and that's what's so frustrating, because the NL is anybody can win. Padres can win, of course. Dodgers can win, of course. Cubs right now. Like Cubs, to me, they're going through a little bit of a struggle bus moment, but they're going to be all right. They're going to make some noise. The Mets, this could be their time. And what I'm afraid of is that the Phillies are probably going to figure it out now and then go on a roll. And the Mets just have to get a little nasty. There's nobody nasty on this team.
Yeah, they're 5.5 or 5 back, 5.5 back. But here's the thing. I think I'm going to say this. And our friend Tony's here, the New York Mets. Thank you. Thank you, Tony, for keeping it real, as you always do. Out of everything, and you can disagree with me, beyond Mendoza and his Mendoza line, beyond the offense not hitting, beyond Stanek and the bullpen and all this kind of craziness. To me, they're all on the list of why the Mets are falling apart. But to me, the top of the list right now is that you have 2 of your starting pitchers that can't go more than 4 innings. The bullpen's having to come in the 6th inning every single game. And even the good players that we've picked up, that's a heavy workload to carry.
Sure.
And we're not going 6 deep like we did in April and early May. We're going 4, sometimes 3. So the bullpen, they need to be better, but they're also they're on the field too much. Like it's the equivalent of the NFL if the defense is on the field too much. And so, can you say Skip Shoemaker? So that's, to me, that's at the top of the list. What is your thoughts? Like, what's your number one? Like, for me, it's that the starters, Minaya pitch count and Senga pitch count, which I guess I kind of understand. Like, they seem to fall apart after 4 innings, but we need people that can go 6 innings. That's
you're preaching to the choir, and without trying to sound like the old man yelling at clouds again. If you can't go 6 innings, you're not a starter, you're an opener. And I don't want to get a bobblehead for you, or he's, great. No, you're not. If you can't go 6 innings, which, by the way, is nothing to me, you should be going 9. Is baseball any better now than it used to be? No, it's terrible. So I don't want to hear about Senga. I don't want to hear about the rally into form. Like you said, it's August 10th. Oh, by the way, I just got a text message from somebody who's watching us who knows about your incident with, the dogs are barking, the cats may come outside, and the frogs and the snake. They said, and this is serious, if you want, you can pile a few marshmallows towards you and raccoons will come.
Really?
Yeah.
I can do that. Okay.
Yes.
Do the size on the air.
Yes. You run for the hills.
I remember, because what the raccoons sound like, after a while. And I remember one night I was like, okay, I know there's one on the patio, because we don't want to do a trap door or trap or anything, because we don't want to trap our cat. So, I remember one night going, okay, I'm going to turn this light on, and there's going to be a raccoon in the patio. Like, I just knew that there was going to be.
Right.
And I remember turning it on, pull the blinds open, and what do I see? 5 raccoons in my patio at one time. I about hair on my arm. It was and people say they're cute looking, whatever, but man, that was oh, this is happening. Okay. And all it took is me to touch the door, and all 5 of them skimmied out of here. But they don't go far. They basically just went out the door and just stopped right there. What are you going to do? And then I took a couple steps, and then they ran into the woods and stuff. So I haven't seen more than one since then.
They're we have hands and thumbs too. What are you going to do?
Yes. Yeah. They're going to run that way. I'm going to run that way. That's
you know what freaks me out? You ever see when the kangaroo gets all big and muscle out, and it's just oh, look, don't give, I'm done. Here, take my wallet. Kangaroo mug me. It's just
huge. I say, and I may have a weird fear about the ostrich, but I was stuck. I think I shared this once. I was stuck on what's called the Boo Choo train at this was many years ago. I think Brooklyn was 4, and we were at this event, the Boo at the Zoo, they called it, and there was a Boo Choo train, and it was stuck stopped so they could show us everything, and there was a ostrich like 7 feet away just staring at us, and I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know if we should be sitting here right now. I don't feel safe.
You're looking at a dinosaur, my friends.
Yes, and mom says stay out of the patio. You know, maybe I should, but at the same time, it'll be interesting to see what could happen. So see what kind of wildlife comes in. We'll see. But I wish it was a little bit cooler out here, though. But with everything going on around the house, is the best place for tonight. We'll see
Sure.
the next time. So I know we are got just a couple minutes left, so I want to make sure to cover a few other things on the football front. So wanted to chat with you real quick. We talked about the injury in NASCAR, but we had that Lions Falcons preseason games that ended early with the Maurice Norris injury. I think it was like 6:23 left in the game, something like that. Did you what are your thoughts on like how that transpired in terms of like that was obviously the right thing to do, like not to continue to play. Unlike I love wrestling, but I'm not a fan of Vince McMahon. Unlike Vince McMahon, when they had Owen Hart die in the middle of the ring, falling from the top of the building, his thoughts were, let's go on with the show and have the next match and have Owens where he passed away in the corner, just remnants of that, and let's just continue on. No, that's not the right call. Never was the right call. I think this definitely absolutely was the right call.
So I will share with you, as you know, Lauren used to be trained by a former professional athlete, New York Jet. Trained her in running and endurance for her soccer. And he really improved her incredibly. And he was a New York Jet after 9/11. And he made it very clear he was one of the reps who went to the NFL and said, we are not playing on Sunday. And when there's an injury like that, people forget that these are human beings. And this is a brother, and this is a friend. And I'm glad they stopped the game. I really am.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, do you remember, I don't know if it was opening day or it was a little bit after that in Major League Baseball, an umpire, it was in Cincinnati, I believe, took a heart attack and died. And they canceled the game, as they should have.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, Vince McMahon would have, of course, kept going because that's who he is, unfortunately.
Yeah. And sometimes people are the way they are. They just one of the top talent in WWE. His name is Karrion Kross. He was just reached popularity that you wouldn't believe. Like the crowd's chanting, "We want Kross," left and right. They let his contract expire at midnight, so he just released a thing where basically bearing all and how much he wants to be there and how awful. And it could be a work. They call it work and shoot. A work in wrestling means that they're making us believe that something is the way it is, but they're going to surprise us. It's not actually that. Versus a shoot where it's just, no, this is reality. This is how it is. So I'm kind of on the fence with that. I feel like even though they moved him to the alumni section, they've removed his song from Spotify. I feel like it's still. I think they're building a bigger story here, and they're going to try to, because nowadays there's so many dirt sheets that spoil everything. So I think they're trying to hide this under wraps and have him come back at some point and stuff. So, but we'll see. But yeah, Tony, imagine how traumatic it would be to have a coworker get seriously injured while you're working next to them. That's what sports have happen all the time. Sometimes you need just end the game. Yeah, exactly. So
anybody who feels like they should not have, we're talking about an exhibition game that doesn't count. And you're talking about somebody's father, somebody's brother, somebody's significant other. I mean, stop. Even if it was a Super Bowl, I would understand. I mean, people just need to understand that long-term goals beat short-term gains, people. Unless you have a gambling addiction and you're gambling on that game, an exhibition game, why would you want it to continue? You need to ask yourself that question. Why are you so callous that you want to continue that game?
Right. Yeah. I exactly. So I'm glad that they did what they did. I want to ask this too. There was the Dolphins and Bears game. It ended in a 24 tie. Are you good with that in preseason, like
Yeah.
telling Ty just like they do in spring training, or
Yeah, because you have a certain amount of plays. You don't want anybody getting hurt for a game that doesn't matter. Basically, what you're asking people to do is to watch a scrimmage. I mean, but yeah, I'm okay with that. I want to ask you: did you see what I posted this morning? The guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars, 70-yard field goal.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And why not try it in a preseason game? There's no harm.
Yes.
Yep. Talk about now that that's out there, like now no lead is like it's almost like no lead is safe.
No.
It's like, that was incredible.
Well, it's like people say, well, the quarterback's better than now, the better pitches, better this and that. You can argue different generations, but I think there's no doubt. You and I have been watching football for a long time. Field goal kickers are better than ever. Back in the day, they kicked a 42-yarder. That was considered long, much less 50. Oh, 50. He did 70, and he had room. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. Yep, absolutely. And so, but we know the season's starting here not too long. Are you going to be doing any fantasy football on your end this year, or are you too busy?
Yeah, I'm not going to do it, and I have people, and we may have a couple of guests on it that do that. I'm just if I'm going to do something, I want to do it right. I don't want to just load a lineup and that's it. But I don't have the time.
Yeah.
But I love fantasy football.
Yeah, I do too. And I was always so good. I was always at the top, and it's like I feel like part of me would be like, I know with my crazy schedule that I would be like a last place team, and I can't live with myself. Like,
no, you can't do. You don't have. It's like it's all kidding aside. I mean, it's very seriously. It's like we put a lot of time, as much time as we can, into this. If you or me were schlocky, how dare us do that? We owe to our partner here. We owe to ourselves. We want to be the best we can be.
Yeah,
I don't want to just put a lineup out there. I don't want to do that.
No, can't do that. But
so
it's,
let me hold on. Weird question. Ready? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off. Weird question, real quick. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You win a lottery, and the lottery is to own a professional sports team. And let's even say not one of the best teams in whatever league. What would that team be? Or what would the sport be? Don't tell me the team. What sport?
So 100% it would be a baseball team, and not just because I'm a baseball guy, but we've been stuck at 30 teams for a while. And like, you could say, people say, oh, it's boring. Baseball is meant to be in person, all that stuff. But the attendance tells you otherwise. And it's a fantastic date night for so many people. So I think we're ready for another 2 teams in Major League Baseball. I think the time has come. Maybe we can move some divisions around so that we don't have teams playing in divisions that they have no business being in. So it would be baseball. And in terms of location, 1,000%, I would say it should be Montreal.
Me too.
Because they are probably the best city for WWE right now. They have the hottest crowd. They were just there this Friday night, and they blew it out the water. But absolutely should be Montreal. The timing, Toronto's playing great ball. And I was looking at the Toronto lineup. I'm like, who are these people? And they're doing so well. But Montreal would be now that I wouldn't. Obviously, I don't want to. I'm a USA guy, so I would stay here. But I think if we had 2 teams, one would be Montreal, and then the other one needs to be in the Orlando area. I know Tampa and Miami are bottom of attendance and all that stuff. And so if we can't move a team there that's already existing, that's where it needs to be. It's ludicrous that there's not a team in Orlando, and they would do phenomenal. So, but as we close this thing out, guys, I just want to say thank you for being a part of this episode. Just a reminder of what is to come. This Friday, you're going to see part 2 or episode 2, you can call it, of our Chatter Time series, where we're going to talk the career of Mike Tyson. So that is coming this coming Friday. And then, of course, Darren and I will be live on Thursday with a surprise topic, which Darren and I will talk offline about to kind of get that down pat. So, but we know we'll be live on Thursday at 8:30. So make sure that you're here for that. But there will be some football content more now that football season is starting. So we'll be letting you know of some special guests or episodes like this that I absolutely love, where it's just us having over 20 people watching us the whole time and just talking about what's relevant and all that kind of stuff. So, so much good stuff that is coming your way. We talked at the top of the hour about some stuff coming up at the end of the year. So keep an eye out for that as well. But Darren, as always, it has been a fantastic time. Tony, great. Thank you so much for jumping in. I always love seeing you in the chat, and Ed and Mom and Laura and saw Dash was on, Brian was on as well, and Mike and Joe. So thank you guys so much for always being there with us. Anything last final thoughts, Darren, on your end before we shut this thing down?
You will like Weapons if you go see it.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up because I wanted to get there.
And it's a vibe. That's all I'll say. It's a vibe. It's horror. It's comedy, but you don't know the comedy's coming. You don't know the horror's coming. It's just a unique movie. I think you'll enjoy it. If you like Sinners, you'll like this.
Okay.
It's funny. And again, here's another one. I don't think we covered this when we did our movie stuff. See the movie Sketch.
Sketch. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all right outside the realm of the time period that we did that.
Yeah. And if that movie is, you can bring kids to that movie, it's really good.
And I do have one final question. And those of you that are in the chat, please answer this question. It's nothing to do with baseball because I'm going to go about to do that now. I might have mentioned this one. We've had an episode on Seinfeld before. Last question of the evening. What is your before bed television show that you put on every night? For me, it's a three-person or three-show rotation with Seinfeld, Friends, and King of Queens. But Darren, what is your
House
before bed show? House. Okay.
Yep.
House. So anyone in the chat, whether now is fine or after we go off, that's fine too. Just let us know in the chat what is your not the show that you want to sit and pay attention to, like with that show that kind of calms you down before you go to bed. We'd love to know that. And so until next time, guys, thank you so much, like I said, for being here. Some exciting stuff in the pipeline coming your way. Excited to continue making those announcements. And until next time, we'll see you around the ballpark. See you Thursday, guys.